The strange and sad ending of Ginger Rogers. What happened to Fred Astaire's co-star? When Ginger Rogers first danced on screen with Fred Astaire in Flying Down to Rio in 1933, she was already an experienced movie performer, and even when their legendary partnership ended she continued to have her own extremely successful solo Hollywood career as a dramatic actress, including a Best Actress Academy Award for Kitty Foyle in 1940. On the American Film Institute's list of greatest screen legends, she is placed at number 14, but her partnership with Astaire in the 10 movies they made together was so extraordinarily good, so near to the ultimate in dancing perfection, that Ginger is in a sense condemned to have her own solo career forever overshadowed by her Astaire years. Ginger Rogers was a very talented individual in fields other than acting and dancing. She was a natural athlete and played high-standard golf and tennis. She was also a highly skilled artist and showed a great aptitude for painting and sculpting. She was born as Virginia Catherine McMath in Independence, Missouri in July, 1911. She was called Ginger, a short form of Virginia, as a little girl, and the name stuck with her as Ginger. The family moved to Texas when she was very young, but her parents went through a bitter divorce soon after and Ginger saw her father only rarely. He died when she was 11 years old. Her mother was a screenwriter and was always very ambitious for her daughter. She left Ginger in the care of her own parents in Kansas City whilst she moved to Hollywood, which was rapidly becoming the new venue for movie making, and Ginger joined her in 1917. Ginger had already appeared in some commercial movies in Kansas City and she was already in love with the theater and show business. When she was 9, her mother married John Logan Rogers and Ginger took his surname, although she was never legally adopted. The family later moved to Fort Worth, Texas, where Ginger went to high school and where she first began appearing in plays and musical revues. She was a naturally talented dancer and at age 14 she won the Texas State Charleston Championship. It was her first big break and the following year she began working the professional vaudeville circuit, as the front person for an act called Ginger and the Redheads. She gained important experience and knowledge, and in 1928, after her marriage to Jack Culpepper, the act was renamed Ginger and Pepper. She was as much a singer as a dancer at this time and she began fronting the Paul Ash Orchestra in New York. Within a short time she appeared in her first musical on Broadway, Top Speed. She received good reviews during the 5-month run and attracted the attention of Paramount Pictures, who in 1930 put her in Young Man of Manhattan, playing a flapper whose line, "Cigarette me, big boy," became a classic phrase in the language. By now Ginger had star status and her first starring role on Broadway was in Girl Crazy with Ethel Merman. She had 2 hit songs in the show and both have since become standards, "Embraceable You" and "But Not For Me." She signed a contract with Paramount and during the next year she divided her time between 2 successful careers, movie actress by day and Broadway theater star by night. When the Broadway run ended she continued to appear, invariably as the sassy, coquettish blonde, in a string of pictures such as The Sap from Syracuse, Follow the Leader, both in 1930, Honor Among Lovers in 1931, The Tenderfoot, and Hat Check Girl in 1932. Ginger started to make her mark in the classic 42nd Street in 1933, playing the wise mouth chorus girl, Anytime Annie. Also in 1933 she appeared in Gold Diggers of 1933, the movie which really made her name, and in which she sang We're in the Money and Sitting Pretty. In all Ginger made 19 films for Paramount, before signing up for RKO Studios. Her first film for them was Flying Down to Rio in 1933, and it teamed her up with an established Broadway star named Fred Astaire. Astaire was a driven perfectionist well known on Broadway for his fierce rehearsals, repeating moves over and over again. He was to say later in his career, that of all his partners, the only one who never once cried during rehearsals was Ginger. She was a very sure, fast and athletic dancer and she complemented the slim, artistic Astaire perfectly. They stole the movie from the star, Dolores Del Rio, and the public clamored for more. Ginger's life was now changed and her name would henceforth always be linked with that of Astaire. As a partnership they danced sublimely and they went on to make a total of 9 movies together for RKO, including such classics as Gay Divorcee, 1934, Top Hat, 1935, Swing Time, 1936, and Shall We Dance, 1937. In 1949 they made a 10th movie together, this time for MGM, The Barkleys of Broadway. Ginger made sure that her solo career continued during this period, and for the next 10 years she worked extremely hard making films in addition to those she made with Astaire. Many were quality light comedies such as Stage Door in 1937 with Lucille Ball and Katharine Hepburn, and Vivacious Lady in 1938. The following year she was in Bachelor Mother and Fifth Avenue Girl, and in 1940 she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her portrayal of a confused working-class girl in love with a wealthy man, in Kitty Foyle. She followed this success the following year with Tom, Dick and Harry. She was enjoying a purple patch and she continued with Roxy Hart, and Lady in the Dark and I'll Be Seeing You in 1944. In 1942 she was the highest-paid star in Hollywood. Ginger was on a roll. After World War II her popularity faded and her movies lacked the vigor and distinction associated with Ginger. Weekend at the Waldorf in 1945, Magnificent Doll in 1946, and It Had to Be You the following year were all disappointing, and even her reunion with Astaire in 1949's The Barkleys of Broadway lacked their pre-war magic. The decline continued with a series of unsuitably dramatic movies in the 1950s, such as Perfect Strangers, and Storm Warning in 1950, Dreamboat in 1952, Forever Female in 1953, and Black Widow in 1954. Her Hollywood career ended with 1957's farcical Oh, Men! Oh, Women! And her movie output slowed to a halt. In 1965 she made Quick, Let's Get Married and her final movie, Harlow, and in the same year she replaced Carol Channing on Broadway in a successful 18-month run of Hello, Dolly. In the early 1970s, Ginger became the spokeswoman and fashion consultant for J.C. Penney, traveling thousands of miles across the country on their behalf. She continued to work and make public appearances until declining health confined her to a wheelchair. She wrote a well-received autobiography in 1991 entitled, Ginger, My Story. Ginger Rogers died from heart failure on April 25, 1995 in California. She was 83 years old. Goodbye legendary actress, dancer, and singer, Ginger Rogers.